Hey Redox, how are we doing today? I hope you're having an awesome day of learning virtually. Today we are going to continue to talk about kickball. As you can see, I made my own little kickball diamond, kind of a miniature version. I talked about last time there's 4 bases. You got home plate here, okay? In my other video, I was showing you incorrectly. I thought it was going to mirror and go the other way on my sheet of paper. So I'll show you what it's supposed to look like, okay? We got first base here, so after you were to kick the ball, you go to first base. Okay, you can either stay here or be risky and go to second base. Jump across. And you got third base here, and of course home plate. Home plate is the spot you want to get to in order to score your run or a point for your team, okay? So obviously when we're playing the game, the bases are going to be a lot further apart. They'll be taking up most of the gym. But just for this video, I thought it'd be easier if I explained the game to you in kind of a miniature version, okay? So we'll have a pitcher. Typically, it's a defensive player. Mr. Gherkin might choose a player on defensive pitch, or sometimes Mr. Gherkin just likes to be the all-time pitcher. So that way it's a fair role for each team. Okay, so defensive players are going to spread out all over the gym, okay? Their goal is to either catch the ball in the air or tag or throw a ball at the runner, the base runner, the runner who kicked the ball, or a runner who's already on base, while they're advancing to the next base, okay, the go-ahead base. If a defensive player throws the ball and hits someone, or they catch the ball in the air, it's an out, okay? Remember, there's 3 outs in kickball. After the 3rd out, the defense will go to the offense will go to defense, okay? There's, in particular, 2 things I want to go over today, okay? There's a force out that I want to go over, and I want to go over tagging up, okay? So, for the first part, let's pretend Mr. Gherkin was up to bat, okay? And he kicked the ball, and he ran first base, okay? It did not make a play on Mr. Gherkin. He got to first base safely, but Mr. Gherkin did not want to go to another base, so he's staying here. Mr. Gherkin would have to wait until the next batter, okay, let's say a classmate named Joe, kicked the ball. Mr. Gherkin has to wait until Joe kicks the ball in order for him to take off and go to second base, okay? Now, in kickball, regular kickball that we're going to be playing, only one person can be on a base at a time. Unlike mat ball, some of us played mat ball last school year. This is not mat ball, this is kickball, only one person on a base. So, if Joe, the next person up to bat, kicks the ball, and it's on the ground, Mr. Gherkin cannot be on first base anymore, okay? He has to go to second. So if he's running to second base, the defensive team can just simply grab the ball and touch second base before Mr. Gherkin gets there because it's a force out. Mr. Gherkin is forced to go to second base because the batter, Joe, has to get to first base. That means Mr. Gherkin cannot be at first base anymore. He has to go to second base. Okay, so if they picked up the ball and touched second base before Mr. Gherkin got there, that would be a force out. Mr. Gherkin would be out. But if Joe got to first base, Joe would get to stay there, okay? Until the next batter came up. When the next batter came up, Joe would not be able to stay on first base anymore. If it's kicked and it's on the ground, Joe would have to go to second base, and hopefully he doesn't get a force out at second. Let's rewind a little bit. Anytime you have a runner behind you and the ball's on the ground, you're going to have to leave and go to the next base. So even if Mr. Gherkin made it to second base safely and Joe was on first base, and the 3rd batter is up and the ball is hitting on the ground, Joe has to go to second, Mr. Gherkin has to go to 3rd. And there could be a force out at 3rd base, second base, and even first base. Okay? That's a force out rule. The force out, you don't have to tag them. You can simply take the ball and touch the base with it. So let's pretend Mr. Gherkin is on defense just for a moment. So let's say it's a ground ball. There's a runner on first and second. So there's a force out. on third, second, first base. Okay, it's a ground ball. All you have to do is touch the base before the runner gets there. Okay? All right, that's force outs in kickball, baseball, softball. All right. The next thing Mr. Griffin wanted to talk to your class about today is tagging up. Okay? So, when I was talking about force outs just a minute ago, I mostly just talked about when the ball is on the ground. In kickball, baseball, softball, when there is a ball kicked up in the air and the defender catches it, runners who have taken off from the base already after the ball is kicked have to go back to the base they were just standing on if a ball is caught. Okay? You have to tag up is the rule. So let's pretend the defense just caught the ball and there was a runner on first base. Okay? After the ball is kicked, the person on first base was running the second. But after that defender caught the ball, they have to go back to first base before they throw the ball there. Okay? If the ball gets thrown back to first base before the runner gets back, they are out. Okay? All I have to do is touch the base. If there's a runner on first, second, third, same thing. All those runners, the ball's popped up in the air and it's caught. They don't even have to leave the base. If they want to be safe, they can stay on the base they're on right there until either the ball's caught or hits the ground. If it's dropped, the tip hits the ground, then everybody's got to run. Okay? But if it's caught, you need to freeze. Make sure you touch your base. And you don't have to run, but if you decide to run, you can tag up. That's what tagging up means. You go back to tag the base, and then you can go to the next stop. All right? I know that's a lot of rules and confusion might occur, but that's just a simplified version of tagging up and force outs. I may even add an extra video for tagging up to help clear things up a little bit. Okay? What I would like you to comment on today, actually I'll add a quiz on there. Okay? I'm going to add on there what you need to do if you are on first base and there's a ground ball. Okay, the ball is kicked, it's on the ground. What do you need to do if you're a base runner on first base? Do you stay here? Do you run second? Okay, if it's on the ground and you're a base runner on first base, you need to run the second base. Okay, it's a force out. That's what I'm going to ask you. All right. I hope all this made sense, and if not, you can always email me some questions. We will continue to go over these kickball rules. All right, stay safe, have fun, Red Hawks.